Okay, one of the things that we're going to work on now is we're going to look at how children are adding tens or ones as part of their learning goal. And so in some of the earlier videos you saw how they're representing numbers using quick tens and ones. So now what we're trying to do is get them to transfer that skill mentally. So they might have something like this, 70 plus 20 equals, and then underneath it have something like 7 plus 2 equals. Our hope is that the children are making the connection that 7 ones plus 2 ones equals 9 ones. Likewise, 7 tens plus 20 tens equals 9 tens, which is 90. I'll show you in a different color. One of the other things that we show children if they're getting stuck that they can do if they need to, but of course our ultimate goal is for them to not need these tools anymore, is to show 70 with 7 times 6. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and then 20, 10, 20. And then to count 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 is another way that they can use this tool to help them. So now I want to show you what happens when they get to over 100, and this is where sometimes second graders get a little confused. So doing something like 70 plus 20 might be pretty simple for them, 50 plus 40, even 80 plus 20. But then when they get to something like 90 plus 20, they start to get confused. And this is how we know if children really have grasped the skill or have not. So again, we're hoping that they'll take what they know about 9 ones plus 2 ones equals 11, or 1 10 and 1 1, and we're hoping that they'll transfer that to this here. So of course we want them to know that 90 plus 20 is 110. However, many second graders still get a little bit confused with this. So we can visualize this by showing them 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and then 10, 20. What we have taught them to do with the quick hundreds is to cluster 100 in a box. So 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So if this is 100 and this is 10, then I know this is 110. Therefore, 90 plus 20 is 110. Okay. We'll do one more. So if we had something like, let's say we had 60 plus 80 equals, and then 6 plus 8. Again, the second graders know that 6 ones plus 8 ones is 14 ones, or 110, and 4 ones, because again, we're using this to help them get ready for place value. And so using this language can really help them out. So 110 and 4 ones. Thinking of that visually, if they can visualize what 110 and 4 ones looks like in their mind, sometimes then it's easier for them to transfer that thinking when working with tens. So now we have 60. So 60 is 6 tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, plus 80. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. You'll notice that when I do 50, I do groups of 5 together. We teach the children that because they have learned successfully to count by 5s. And so if they can count by 5 successfully, it's easier for them to just think right off, right away, 5 tens is 50, 50, 60, instead of counting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 40, 50, which slows them down a little bit. So now I know if I have 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, this is 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 plus 40 equals 140. So 60 plus 80 is 140. Again, we have one, now this is our 100. Here we have 4 tens. And here we have 0 or no ones. So hopefully you'll find this helpful. Again, the language that we're using with the children, we're really getting them to understand place value by knowing that this digit here all the way to the right is the ones place, the tens place, and the hundreds. And another way that we can show this, if I was showing you 60 plus 80 is 140, if your child's really struggling with this, you can always use something called base 10 blocks, and I'm happy to send some home. If you just send a note, I can try to put a little baggie together for you to borrow and then return. So we can make 60, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and then 80, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Now if I look at this, I can count 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Look how I actually changed that. I'm going to exchange these 10 tens for 100. So now I have 100 and 1, 2, 3, 4 tens, 4 tens.